Welcome to the Exit 58 podcast, a show about pop culture, tech, politics, and anything else they can come up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another edition of the Exit 50A podcast. That's right. You're hearing the Exit 50A podcast through your earbuds, through your speakers. I'm Derek. That is Cass.
Didn't you do one a couple of weeks ago? Acting like I'm back. I haven't been here for a while. I should be making a big deal. You were here a couple of weeks ago with Donnie, Danny, Dickie, whatever his name is.
I know. Okay, we're going to talk about him.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a while, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel
I agree.
rusty.
No, I agree.
I feel rusty. And?
What do you mean and?
I got tired of working with Danny.
You got tired of looking at him.
Yeah, I got tired of looking at him. Too many shows. I felt like I did like 2 shows with him. I felt like it was 60.
Yeah.
And we brought in a hired gun.
That is me. My name is Alyssa Ficcaglia, and
Yes.
I am here to party, obviously.
Yes.
I'm here to replace, who's this Danny? I'm here to replace him.
Yeah.
That's
Danny's
a great question. None of us really knows.
Weak
He
sauce.
doesn't know.
Danny is weak sauce.
Yeah. Danny's yesterday's news.
Yes.
Danny, you've been Wally pipped out of your spot on the 58 podcast.
I informed Danny. I said, we found a third member, so
Yep.
meh.
Sorry, Danny.
Thanks for the memories. So many years, so many memories. Mm-hmm. Up in smoke. Well, it's good to be back. We've got
Yes.
a lot to talk about.
A lot of ground to
Yes,
cover.
a lot of ground to cover.
I don't even remember. Well, first, even before I get into that, may I just say that we are not broadcasting from the Jones domicile today,
Yes.
as has become. That's pretty much become our home base. But we're not at Derek's joint today. I don't know if maybe Alyssa just wasn't invited to go there, so you felt bad,
No,
or she's afraid to go to your place, and it was just.
No.
But
Disrespectful,
No.
honestly.
Thank you.
So
Well, listen,
disrespectful.
again, you've known him for how many years now? None of this should be a surprise to you. Now, so since we were not invited into Derek's home today, we're back at on campus here.
The only way I get to hear about Derek's home is through the podcast.
Oh,
Literally.
come on. Oh,
Literally.
You're terrible, Derek.
what?
Horrible friend.
So
I haven't had
so
time
we have
to
to.
have a
I had to fight my way through the hellish streets of Glassboro, which, by the way, it's becoming more and more like friggin' New Brunswick every day.
Yes.
It took me 15 minutes to get from the intersection by the old Newman Center on 322 there to get to TD Bank. Took me 15 freaking minutes. And then getting, here it's like playing Frogger with the kids dodging in the streets and stuff like that. So I finally get to the gate to get into the Bozarth Bunce Center here. And the very nice lady at the gate, I don't think believed that I was not a student, and she directed me to park in the parking deck on the 3rd level. So I said, if my name was Ahmud and I was a dreamer, I'd probably be able to park right next to the front door here. But, because I look like the Michelin Man, she sent me to the 3rd level of the parking garage. So I get there, I'm driving around, I'm having like a Chevy Chase Look Kids Parliament moment. By the 3rd or 4th pass around the 1st level, I realized there was no way for me to get to the 3rd level from where I was. So I decided to park my damn car because it was already 15 minutes later than our appointment was supposed to be. It didn't matter, as it turns out, because we're 45 minutes late in recording this. But so I leave the confines of the parking garage. I enter what I can only describe as the Rowan Olympic Village, because all I see are these beautiful brick little housing centers that all look the same. I felt like I was in a maze and I was looking for the block of cheese. I couldn't see the horizon. I couldn't see any buildings. I didn't know which direction to go in because I had lost my sense of direction in the parking garage. So I had to ask this poor little thing that was walking back to her apartment with her shopping bags. And I said, look, I'm not trying to be creepy or be stupid, but can you direct me how to get, it's been a long time since I've been, none of this is, and, she pointed me towards what she thought was an academic building. Luckily, I found my way here, but,
that is a story.
Isn't that a story? Can you report on that tomorrow?
Though.
Can you report
I will.
on? Thank you.
You have experienced this pain yourself.
Oh, yeah, especially with the parking
Yeah, but
garage.
so you parked out here, though. You parked right next to the building, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did. She told me to go to the 3rd floor, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
I think it's a woman thing. I think that she gave you I think she gave you the woman, the Me Too woman wink, and you're allowed to park here.
Oh, my God.
Actually, it was just because I'm sneaky, and
You are
someone came in
sneaky.
behind me, and I was like, "Quick, while she's not looking!" I went out.
Now-
I turned.
Alyssa, you must know from listening to this podcast that nothing is off limits here, and me more so than these other two softies will say things that are not, that are off the beaten path. So, you're a tough cookie, so I don't think you're going to be offended by anything
No,
today.
I listen to you guys all the time. Okay.
And I'm your favorite though because
Because Derek doesn't even invite me to his house.
Thank you, Derek.
Oh,
Doesn't,
my
and
God.
and Danny hasn't said anything interesting in like 3 months. So he's become Ringo Starr. He's not. He's just there. He's an appendage. I still love you, Dickie, but it's like we're trying to do a show here.
Start a new segment, the Danny Roast.
But before we dive into new business, I do have a bit of old business from the last show we were all together.
What number are we on now? We're on 48. What was that? So that would have been episode 46 back in July?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
I think we were roasting hot dogs on a grill back then.
Yes, this is some old business. So one of the listeners messaged me and listened to the...
Wait, what do you mean one of the listeners?
One of the listeners.
Was it John or Jay?
Neither.
Oh, wow, we have other...
It's a female listener.
She's right here. Did you
Yeah,
email?
that was me.
There she is.
Guilty as charged.
And now we have one less listener because she's here.
It is not her. It is a loyal female listener.
Oh, get outta
we
here.
have
Is it your mom?
No, in the
Wow,
Baltimore area.
A loyal female Baltimore listener?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So she listened to...
It sounds like something that John wrote, but go ahead.
No, it is not.
Okay.
She listened to the Froggy episode.
Oh, boy.
The gift episode.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she was in complete agreement with your assessment.
Is that right?
Yes. She said, I definitely agree with Kaz, which I never do. But it was inappropriate for Froggy to send that gift.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Everyone else I talked to who listens to the show completely disagreed with me, but at least I know somebody.
Really? Is that right? What did they say?
Yeah, Jay couldn't wait to tell me how much he disagreed with me. But that's okay. That's okay. Well, all right. Well, thank you, miss, whoever you are, and hopefully I'll disappoint you this episode and say some more things that you don't like. But you're still listening, so that's good.
Yes, we appreciate it. You can, of course, message us.
Yeah, how did you, through what means did you get this message?
Instagram.
Nice, all right.
Instagram. So we're at Exit 58 Podcast on Instagram, on Twitter. We're all over the place. So check us out. And, of course, we've got a lot to get to on this show, man, because it's been a time and a half in the last... A lot of this stuff that we're going to talk about has recently happened. Like, that's how crazy it's been.
Yeah, this news cycle has been madness. And Alyssa, you're a lady of the news. You are immersed in the media. Our leadoff spot has to be the circus that has been the SCOTUS hearings, Supreme Court hearings. And I think the latest is that they found out that Brett Kavanaugh cheated at checkers when he was 10 years old. I think that's the latest thing to have come out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Lord.
isn't the whole Washington, D.C. just a circus anyway at this point?
It is, and I understand the gravity of the position. I really do, because it's a lifetime appointment. But we don't vet our lawmakers even to this degree. Remember, these people that we're putting into the Supreme Court they're not legislating. They are adhering, or supposed to be adhering, to the Constitution and ruling on cases that are kind of in the gray area. And to be going back to some, he did a kegger, and he was in a keg club in college. Who the hell? We had a president, a couple of presidents ago, who was raping people in the White House. No one got outraged about that.
Well, hold on. Let me before we go.
I'm talking about B.J. Clinton, by the way.
I know.
Bill J. Clinton.
I'm clearly aware of.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that your favorite family.
Oh boy.
So hold
Next to Tom Brady, that's your boy.
Well, no. Let's not get that.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's not assume that.
Go ahead.
If you dug into the background of old G-Dubs.
Oh, sure.
G.W.
Any
Bush.
of these guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's
silly. They just don't want to appoint him because they think he's going to... First of all, to think that Roe versus Wade's not going anywhere. Let's be honest. I mean... Whenever I hear that come up when people talking about, electing a president, and this, that, and the other, and look, it's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. And by most standards, I think that Kavanaugh was a very moderate selection by Trump. He really could have dropped a hammer by doing a Mike Lee or someone like that who's super conservative. I think he did everyone did all the Democrats a favor by Kavanaugh, but apparently, they think he's right of Hitler. So, I mean, you can't appease everybody.
Yeah, none of the, I don't know.
It just becomes silly.
When you start digging on this stuff, it's just, when do you stop? Where do you start?
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Oh, how about the representative from Hawaii who told all you men shut up and step up and do the right thing for once? It's like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah.
Who the hell are you, lady? Shut up. Don't tell me to shut up.
So what do you think the end game is here?
I think he gets finally appointed. I think he'll get the approval and he'll get voted in.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
I think that'll be the case. I feel like it really is just a witch hunt. We're nearing midterm elections. Everybody's trying to boost their ratings and look good for the people, even though none of them really have, I feel personally, the intentions, like their intentions aren't good for us. Like they're only concerned about themselves.
Amen, sister. Amen.
There's too much posturing. Everyone's trying to sabotage everyone else, and we're not getting anywhere. So if this could be Bob Johnson, some dude out in Tacoma, Washington, they'll find something.
Boy, you better hope you never run for Supreme Court, Derek. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, God.
The stuff they're gonna dig up about you.
No.
So, in addition to the Supreme Court madness that's been going on, of course, our area here in the greater Philadelphia, South Jersey, Delaware Valley area here, we avoided, thankfully, Hurricane Florence. We only got a couple of residual showers as a result of that, but the people down in the Carolinas obviously got hammered. Now, if you're like me and you're kind of a Twitter junkie, and I'm a weather junkie also, so I love following all the different weather accounts and doing the hashtag Florence to kind of follow all the news and stuff like that. And even if you just watch your evening news, you probably heard about the Anderson Cooper standing in waist-high water and the fake news hashtag and all this kind of stuff. And Cooper had to go on his 360 show and defend himself and reveal that was from 10 years ago or whatever. But to me, I heard his explanation, and I hear what you're saying, Anderson, but that was still a little too dramatic for what was going on for him to be standing up to his neck in water. I mean, give me a break.
I also feel like all those memes that, like, this went from something that was supposed to be so funny to, like, now people used it to be serious about it. Like, I love that people were going and, like, making their own videos of pretending to be blown away while someone's mowing the grass in the background. Like,
yeah.
That was funny, and then somebody turned it and made it like political and serious, and now it's not fun anymore.
So I've always been curious about this from a news angle. Why is it necessary to constantly send people out in this stuff? This is dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
It's dangerous to do.
It's literally the television news and weather version of Jackass. Sending someone like from Johnny Knoxville. Let's send him onto the dock. That's going to be submerged by waves in a couple of minutes and see if he survives, type thing. But I'll watch it though. I think it's kind of cool.
It's like
my next life. I want to do that.
Here, go outside, hold this golf club during a thunderstorm, and see if lightning strikes you, and it'll be good TV. It's crazy that people do this, and there aren't really any complaints about it.
Yeah, I mean, they say like that. Reporters are basically first responders because, like, while first responders are there, so are your reporters heading into whatever it is. Like, they're always there when things are happening, But do I think they need to be posted up in a hotel right on the east, like on the coast, getting battered by wind and rain? No, I think they could be a little inland and still make their point across.
It's good TV, though.
It is
good TV. And it makes for great. And speaking of memes, my favorite meme is anytime they cut and paste the image of Chris Christie on the beach in his beach chair. I love how it's kind of like they cut and paste that into all sorts of, like, he's at the Declaration of Independence, he's at the Indy 500, he's, sitting, he's everywhere. I love that.
Did you see the one from this recent hurricane where it's cutout of Trump when he's handing or like tossing the
paper towels.
No, wait. It was his hat. He was handing, like, giving out his hat, his Make America Great, and they're in this little, like, pontoon boat, and Christie's in his beach chair, and this guy is holding on to a fence, like, trying not to drown, and it was so funny. I love it.
you just triggered someone by saying the paper towels thing, because that still drives people
Trigger
up.
alert.
I love it. I love it.
I was in here this week, and somebody made a reference to that. It's like, maybe he'll...
Yeah, exactly. See, I love that. That's so
Maybe
good.
we'll give him paper towels again.
That's candy to my ears. So, speaking of Twitter, now, apparently it became necessary to probe into the sexual identity of puppets. That's apparently something we're doing on Twitter right now. Are Bert and Ernie gay? Again, if you've even perused Twitter half-heartedly, you've probably come across... I just put into my Twitter search function here, Bert, Ernie, and here are the top news tweets that came up. Does it matter if Bert and Ernie are gay? That's from the National Post. Why it matters that Bert and Ernie are gay, which they are, from something called The Verge. What else do we have here? Discussion of Bert and Ernie's relationship status on Reuters. Does it matter if Bert and Ernie are gay? Like, oh, CNET, Bert and Ernie, gay or not. Either way, you're right. Like, what? Because some Yahoo questioned Bert and Ernie sleeping in the same... Like, can't they just be friends? I don't understand. Why are we talking about the sex of Muppets? What are we doing in 2018?
Because it's in 2018, it's all about identification. And you have to pick a side. You have to be gay. You have to be straight. You have to be bi. You have to be trans. You have to be this, that, or the other. I just want to watch... Like, this is the thing. I just want to watch a show to watch a show.
Yes.
I'm just watching... If I'm watching those guys... Excuse me, those...
How dare you?
Those things. I'm just watching them to have a good time.
Well, it's like I'm not wondering about the sexual preferences of like superheroes. Like, when are we going to have the first transgender superhero or gay super? Like, who cares? What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Pretty soon Santa Claus is going to be, gender neutral.
Yeah, I've always been a big stickler on that too. Like, I'm watching a TV show to get away from all the horrible stuff and all the politics that you see on the news literally 24/7. I want to watch a show to get away from all that, not be brought back into it. And it's not like they cater to both sides. It's always very one-sided in every show. Well, I feel like if you're going to do that, it needs to be neutral.
Well, it's the same thing with sports. So talk to your buddy across the table here who loves the politicizing and the NFL and stuff they can't get enough of it. Can't watch a friggin' football game without hearing about,
Sir, I don't follow any of that.
So speaking of football there, DJ, and I know this is your bailiwick right here. Anytime an announcement about the Super Bowl comes up, I know your ears kind of pert up and the hairs on your neck stand up and you get excited, but I know your hackles were raised at the reaction to the announcement of Maroon 5 as the Super Bowl halftime entertainment.
So here's the thing. I don't really care that Maroon 5 is the halftime act. Like, I don't have any... Like, they're in the spectrum of who the NFL would get.
I think everybody knows Maroon 5.
Yeah.
It's not like they picked some garage band that's, we never heard of before.
Right. Justin Timberlake, Maroon 5, it's all Katy Perry. They're all in the same spectrum. You're going to get Taylor Swift soon at some point. That's going to happen. So get ready. Here's the thing: the complaining that was done by people after this was announced about, well, how come they didn't get any Atlanta acts to do it? And then people started listing all of the hip hop acts that are Atlanta based who could be involved. I'm glad you asked that because I'm gonna dig this up. The main ones are Outkast.
That's the only one that I knew of, Outkast, and they haven't done anything in how long? And I like Outkast. I wouldn't be angry if that was the choice, but I'm not.
Somebody wrote a think piece today about this nonsense, and I have to find.
I know everyone's outraged that Migos was not chosen. I couldn't name you a Migos song if you had a revolver at my temple right now.
So, why does everything need to be such a controversy? Like, that's
right.
Why can't we just enjoy Maroon 5? We all love them. Don't act like you don't.
Leave the Muppets alone. Leave the halftime show alone. Damn it.
You can't. I just think this is stupid because people want, well, what you got, you have opportunity to really, you could have Usher, you could have Jermaine Dupri, they're Atlanta guys, you could do Migos, you could... I don't care for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is a worldwide event. People are acting like this is like some professional wrestling event from 1985 that is on closed circuit, and the only people that can see it are the people like in the surrounding 6 counties. That's not what this is. No, first of all, I don't even care about the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't care.
Yeah, how many of us watch it really?
Me.
Do you really?
Yeah, I love watching
That's the time
it.
to go like make the halftime food and stuff like that, or use the bathroom.
No,
or
I
put the
love
kids
it,
to
okay?
bed.
Refresh your adult beverage.
Yeah.
Refresh clogging your arteries.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
But like, it's the same. Like, I tune in for the commercials too. You know,
Sure.
like it's just it's part of the experience.
Yes,
is what it is.
You have a crowd who is into they don't care about the game. They care about the commercials, the halftime show, etc.
Yeah, like my mom. My mom does that.
Right.
That's what she does.
But when has the NFL ever made this a localized thing? I'm sure maybe in the past they said, oh, well, if we get this person to do it, that's fine. That'd be kind of cool. It's never the primary thought. Do you know who did the last 2 Super Bowl halftime shows in Atlanta?
No.
Phil Collins.
No, wait a minute. No, I should know one of these because it was Super Bowl 28.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. We're talking like we're going back to January of 1994. I don't know. Who was it? I was probably too scared to watch it.
It was Clint Black, I believe. Let me just double check
Clint
that.
Black.
Yes.
Is that a country act? You're a country girl, right, Alyssa?
I've never heard of that.
Uh-oh.
Clint Black, Tanya Tucker, Travis Tritt.
I mean, these are
Oh, yeah, that
okay.
is
Well,
and the
country.
Judds.
even I know that.
Yeah. That was January 30th.
No, see, that has a kind of local flavor to it. They weren't having those acts when it was at the Rose Bowl. But
No.
I still agree with you. And may I suggest, and I know this will not, fly well with some, but it's where we are. It's 2018. This is how this stuff usually happens. May I suggest that the people, by and large, who are making a stink out of this and making this an issue and bringing up all these hip hop acts, their next step after they set this foundation will be to make it a racial thing. May I suggest that? Because
we're getting there.
Because Maroon 5 is a white, pop band.
Yeah.
And you have all these black hip hop artists who were passed over in the eyes of the critics. Knowing how the news cycle is and knowing how social media is, I think it'll only be another couple days or couple weeks before we see on Vox or any of these, Huffington Post, one of these crappy websites, you will see that brought to light. Or maybe right before the Super Bowl or something. Hey, do you remember when the racist NFL passed over Migos and Outkast?
The word that somebody used today was relevant. And I'm sorry. Let's go through the
Paul
last
McCartney
few,
relevant? I mean, I know
Yeah.
he's a legendary act, or Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and
Like, I know people, it's in vogue to rip on the NFL, but the last couple of Super Bowl halftime shows, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars.
That was my favorite one in
Beyonce.
recent years. That one was fantastic. I actually watched that one and it was good.
Yeah, Katy Perry. Like, I didn't
watch that
What do you want? What do you want?
Right,
What do you want?
I agree.
Like, stop. You can't do everything. First of all, Migos should never, ever perform the halftime show. And I listen to Migos stuff. They did Ric Flair drip. They shouldn't be anywhere they should not be 100 feet away.
I feel like
Super Bowl halftime show.
feel like we discovered Migos on this show.
We did.
And you played 20 seconds of one of their tracks
Bad and Bougie? Yeah.
and they said N and F multiple times. So I don't know how can that be part of the Super Bowl halftime show?
Put on the Super Bowl halftime show. Why not? Why not?
Forget family entertainment, damn it.
Yeah. Gosh dang. I can't, like, this, it makes me mad. I sat there on my computer, and I was like, I cannot believe people are this daft.
I saw you tweeting about it.
Yeah,
I saw.
I knew,
Oh
and
my God.
I knew he was ticked off. I knew it. I
Yes.
could
Yeah.
sense it.
And there were other African American people who shared my point of view as well.
Okay.
It does not matter that people from Atlanta or wherever the hell the Super Bowl is being held are doing the halftime.
This is a very hotep take by you right now.
Yeah,
I should say
I know,
you're being very hotep
I
right
know.
now.
I know it's wearing off.
I love it.
It's just stupid. Well, we need Atlanta relevant acts. No, you don't.
we don't.
It's about the two teams playing on the field, and it's about the pop act who they fill in the blank act. That's it. That's all you need to know. Period. Thank you.
Are you a football fan, Alyssa?
I do watch football and actually watch the games, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan and go
Okay.
all out. I like to tailgate. I like to have
Okay.
little football viewing parties.
But if you had to align yourself with a team, would it be the Eagles?
Obviously.
Okay. All right. So now this is something interesting. One of the local sports talk shows threw this kind of impromptu poll up online. I shared it with Jay from Deptford, and he bleeds Eagles,
Yes.
and he had a very interesting take on this. I said, boy, I would love to hear Derek's opinion on this. So they wanted fans to rank in order of importance these 4 quarterbacks in the scope of an all-time Eagles greats. Okay. So your 4 choices at quarterback are Randall Cunningham, for all you old heads out there, Donovan McNabb, Nick Foles, and Carson Wentz. So you have to rank as an all-time great Eagles quarterback. Where do these guys rank in the pantheon? What say you, Derek Jones, Mr. I'm a big Eagles fan, which I don't believe, but go ahead.
Number 4 is Wentz. Hasn't played long enough.
Well, you've already gone polar opposite from Jay, and that's great. I love that.
Wentz has had the same number of almost MVP seasons as Derek Carr. So I don't.
Wow.
He was okay his rookie year. He was awesome last year, but you got to finish the season to get the credit.
Wow.
You're not a straight A student if you get an A minus.
This is so good. You're okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Number 3.
Yes.
This is a tough one.
Go ahead and say what you want to say. I know what you're
people
gonna
are
say.
not going to like this.
You have to say it though.
Now, are we saying in order of is it talent or is it accomplishment?
I'm saying importance to the franchise. And
Okay, all right.
No, that's how
This
I
is
interpret
tough.
the question.
This is
It was
tough.
just kind of thrown out there, like, how would you rank these 4 quarterbacks for the Eagles? Like, that could mean anything. How cute are they?
Okay, all right. I hate to say
Then
this.
Carson would be number 1 for me.
Oh, yeah.
Wentz
He's dreamy.
Wentz cannot be anywhere near number 1.
Wow.
Number 3, I hate to say this because he's my favorite
Oh.
all time, with the exception of Montana and Brady.
Are you putting Randall at number 3?
I got to put Randall at 3.
Wow.
I got to put Randall at 3. Now,
Did your brother think Randall belongs in the Hall of Fame?
He does.
Whoa.
He does. And I will say this: the only reason he can't be higher,
Yes.
is because he never forget about winning the Super Bowl. He didn't really. He won 1 playoff game with the Eagles. Had he at least gone to a conference championship game, then he's 2.
All right.
Nick Foles is number 2.
See, I said the exact same thing as you. I had McNabb at number 1 also, and I was derided.
None of this is happening right now. None of this is happening right now without Donovan McNabb. None of it.
I agree. And he's a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yes. None of this is happening without the Reed McNabb era.
The counter argument that I was given is that in the biggest moment of his professional sporting life, he was dry heaving in the huddle. That's what was given to me. And therefore, he cannot possibly be number 1.
Okay, all right. See, this is a problem I have.
Alyssa, we normally, as you know, we don't do this many sports stories, but we had to wake Derek up a little bit.
We
had to shake
I
him
understand.
out.
I
Yeah,
got
okay.
This is a problem I have. The same people who hold the McNabb thing over his head are the same people who are like the Patriots cheated during the game.
Yeah.
You can't have both. You pick one. You can't have the Patriots cheated with Spygate and McNabb threw up. Those 2 things can't exist.
So
in the
for
same
those of you
universe.
keeping score at home and wondering, and maybe you're Eagles fans and you're playing along, Derek's ranking of the all-time Eagles quarterbacks goes from top to bottom now. McNabb number 1, then the Super Bowl MVP,
Yes.
then Randall, and
Yes.
then everyone's favorite dreamy Carson Wentz.
Yes.
You've turned a lot. Probably people are clicking off on their iPod right now.
Carson Wentz has never played in a playoff game.
I agree.
What are we doing?
I agree.
Can I see him? Can I see you turn your back on him once he loses a playoff game? It will happen. It will happen. He will get that cold shoulder.
Okay.
You wait. See what happens. He doesn't defend the title this year. You're gonna say, "Oh well, I don't." Oh, maybe you should have Foles.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so good.
Who did Jay have?
Jay had Wentz number 1.
You can't have him number 1.
Oh, well, you're going to have to talk to him about
You
that.
can't have him.
Have him on the next podcast then. He can sit in for me.
Oh man.
Wow, we're off to a good start here. I feel good about this.
All right. Well, on that note, I need to gear down a little bit.
All right,
My blood pressure's up after this segment.
Into news mode we go.
Yes.
What?
It's time for our favorite segment, ICYMI, in case you missed it.
ICYMI, in case you missed it.
Welcome back to the Exit 50A podcast, episode 48. I'm Kaz. Derek across the board there at the Wheels of Steel, and we welcome the lovely Alyssa Ficcaglia here with us today.
And you said it right. I'm proud.
Yeah.
She is about to enter her element as we have arrived at our favorite segment here, ICYMI, in case you missed it, where we scour the interwebs in search of stories that may have eluded you in recent time, may be of interest to you, or may be completely outrageous that they can't possibly be true. So we kind of sprinkle a little bit of that in here for you, and let's get to it. And we start north of the border, as a Canadian student emailed more than 240 women named Nicole from his school's directory trying to find a woman he met at a bar. Hey, we've all been there, right? Carlos Zetina, a student at the University of Calgary, said he hit it off with a woman named Nicole at a local bar, but the phone number she gave him, it didn't work. So Zetina checked his school directory and emailed all 247 Nicoles in a single email. This is a desperate man. In a single email that allowed them to see each other's email addresses. In the email, Zetina wrote, quote, "If you don't fit this description, then ignore. And if you are the one and you just don't want to talk to me, that's okay as well," end quote. The women created their own Facebook group called Nicole from Last Night, and nearly a dozen of like-named students attended a meetup event. They organized a second meeting, and nearly 40 Nicoles attended. Now, Zetina's intended Nicole, the one he was looking for, did not receive, after all that work, she didn't even get the email, but she became aware of the Facebook group and said in a post that she had given him her actual phone number, but here's a shock, he may have written it down wrong. He's probably trashed. The quote-unquote real Nicole and this young man eventually connected and went out as friends, so they say. Now, Derek, you are no stranger to the bar and nightclub scene.
Yes.
Has this ever happened to you where you've taken down a lovely lady's number and then the next morning realized it was either, the ink ran, your palms were sweating and the ink began to run, or you lost it, or it was wrong, or she gave you the number for the payphone outside or something like that? Has that ever happened to you?
No, because if you're doing it, I don't understand how he could do that. Like, do you have a cell phone, bro?
Maybe.
That is literally what I was going to say.
Yeah,
if we're in the age of Facebook, you should have a phone. Who writes their number down anymore?
Well, okay, but you have to understand, Derek began dating well before cell phone culture also. So that's what I was specifically asking about in the olden days. Derek isn't the same age as you. I don't know if you realize that or not.
So if you were interested in a girl you were in high school with.
Okay. Well, no, we're talking about being at the bar, though. I'm not going back to high school here.
I don't know. When I was at the bar, I mean, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember how I got numbers.
Yeah.
Back then.
Because he didn't get any.
Well,
wow.
Who invited you?
Sting.
You did, obviously.
Wowzers.
Wow.
Have you ever woken up the next morning after being out and looked in your phone and there was a number and a name in there that was not there the night before? That has happened to me.
No.
And it was a guy's name and number.
Oh, God.
Because apparently what happens is when I used to, have a little too much to drink, all of the homosexual men would come on to me. Not that I was coming on to them, of course, because I'm not of that persuasion, but I think that I am attractive to gay men. And that's okay. I'm flattered, quite frankly, because it's actually on once when I was on a cruise, I spent like a whole night talking to this gay guy, and he invited me to his party in Queens and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. And then again, the morning after being out, I in my phone I was like, who's this guy? And I think I didn't end up calling it, but I was like, I kind of remember talking to someone with this name last night, but isn't that scary? Sometimes you don't know yourself when you drink. Let that be a lesson to all you kids at home. Don't drink and make important decisions, especially about your personal, who you go home with.
I would ask,
especially if you're running for Supreme Court justice someday.
By the time I guess I started to actually like be somewhat competent at that stuff, I had a cell phone, so I could just like kind of store it somewhere. The weirdest thing to ever happen was, I remember there was one time I was out and someone got a hold of my house number and was trying to find me.
Oh, so you were on the opposite end. Oh, that's cool.
They were trying to find me, and they called my parents'
Oh, no.
and left a message on my parents' voicemail and said, "Hey, I'm looking for Derek. Blah 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 blah."
Derek, I need you. Derek, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Derek, I know you're there. I need you.
So I was.
Derek, talk to me like you talked to me last night. Derek, pick up the phone. Come on, baby, please. Please, baby. Derek. I'm waiting for you, Derek. I'm taking off my shoes and socks, Derek. Now I'm taking off my pants, Derek. Hello?
People are tuning in right now and they're like, what did I click?
Yes. What did I?
That's the best part about a podcast, though. You really can't tune in the middle.
Well, like, what if I'm listening halfway through and then like,
You do this, don't you? You do that. You get bored
and
and you skip ahead, don't you?
no, but like there'll be times I listen
Good
in the
answer.
car, you know? So when it's playing and I get out of the car, it just stops where
I
it
see.
was.
Yeah,
And when I
okay.
get back in, I forget it's on. And it just
Good
plays.
answer.
So have you ever given a guy a phony phone number?
Have I?
Yeah.
No, because
great
no guy
question.
ever asked for my number.
Shut the front door.
Stop.
Yep. I had to do the asking even with my husband.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Via Facebook Messenger.
By the way,
that is fake news.
by the way, we salute your husband, who is a patriot. We salute him.
Oh, thank
yes,
you.
Yes.
yes.
I will tell him you said that.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, he doesn't listen to the show. He's going to listen to this one.
I have to go
just-
tell him tonight, you know, say, hey, they said thank you for your service. And then
And
he'll
what-
listen and hear it from your voice.
And what branch is he in?
He's the Air Force.
Very good. Very good. So we salute you, sir.
Yes.
There
But
you
no,
go.
I never gave a fake number.
Wow. Would you give a fake number? Let's say some like really creepy guy was, and you couldn't get
I
rid of
think
him.
you know who I'm thinking
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
of. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So
Yes.
that one I probably would have given I wish I would have given a fake
Yeah.
number. to
We have
that
a
one.
mutual acquaintance who clearly
A
Yeah.
fellow station member, perhaps?
not anymore.
Oh.
Former.
Well, you can't give a fake number to that because you would see that person.
Well, that's why I wish it would have been.
Oh, I
He said if I
understand.
could,
Okay. I see.
that would be who it was. So, have you guys heard of Fortnite? I don't even think that's a good question, but
I have.
Yes.
My nephew plays it like, I think, 23 hours a day.
have you ever played it?
Negative.
Have you ever played it?
Briefly.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Come on.
I have
up, would you?
Well,
played it.
where I was, I had to play.
What's the matter? Your Pokemon didn't work? So you had to do
I
something-
was at the Pope of Pensgrove's house. I had to. His son wanted me to play with him.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it wasn't good. He took the controller right away.
Okay.
So every few years, you know, and its obsession will come along. For example, we have World of Warcraft. My
Yes.
husband played that,
Oh.
obsessed. We have Minecraft. My little cousins play that
My
now.
nephew is obsessed with that, too. Yep.
Yes, all these obsessions, tons of them, you know, and they are known to get kids hooked to these video games. They infuriate parents and they shatter relationship. Well, now the latest trend, which is Fortnite, massively popular, free to play online, which is why it's so popular, is the latest one to reach this new milestone. So here's the crazy thing, and when I heard this, I was blown away. So, a new fevered pitch comes in the form of a report stating that more than 200 divorces have been filed, with the complaint being that their significant other plays the game too much. Okay?
I think I believe that, number one,
Crazy.
because I think the heights to which this frenzy has reached is a little, and it's not just like middle school and like high school kids doing this either. As Derek just,
adults,
exhibited
yes.
over. It's adults. And I think it's probably the same thing, like if it was gambling or fantasy sports and stuff like that. I think any sort of addiction like that kind of takes you out of the real world could be a problem. And this just kind of, that kind of fits this description.
Could you imagine this lawyer, though, like just sitting there? Miss Smith comes in. How can I help you today? And she's like, I need to file for a divorce because my husband plays the video game all day long. And he's like, oh, how dare he? Let's get you half of everything. Like, who is doing that?
Well, I would be interested to know what percentage of these 200 some odd divorce filings, what percentage of them are folks that have been married for less than 5 years? That is what I would probably think, maybe 9 out of 10 of them would be new, because people who've been married for 15 years aren't getting divorced over a fortnight. By that point, you're saying, go fine, go play Fortnite so I can watch my
Yeah, get out of my face.
Yeah, the Hallmark movie's coming on. Get the hell out of here. Right.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah.
but that is definitely true. Like, and I feel like that's what a majority of divorces are anyway. It's like the younger
Sure.
couples. I don't feel like these long-term relationships are really filing at the rate that like my generation is filing for divorce.
Now, my mom used to be addicted to Tetris on the old Nintendo. I could remember, we'd go to bed, and my room was right across the hallway from what we called the toy room, which was our spare room, which where my sister and I kept all of our toys, and that's where we had Nintendo hooked up to the old TV, which, by the way, had an antenna on it and didn't have a remote control. So you know how old I am, okay? But I would be in my bedroom trying to fall asleep, and I could hear these strained tones of like mom, and like I would look at the clock and it's like 2:00 and mom is still in there playing Tetris. And then the next morning she wake up and her fingers were all mangled and she looked like who's the football player who had the mangled fingers, Derek? And you wave to him and he's pointing in every direction and the one who knocked out Frank Gifford.
Bednarik.
Yeah, Bednarik.
Yeah.
Pinky's pointing this way. Yeah, that's what because mom was addicted. So I understand video game addiction's a real thing. And so is gambling, so is pornography, so is eating. All of these things are addictions. You know what I mean? You just have to do them in moderation.
And it's a game that like never ends either. So like I could see why you'd be spending so much time on it.
I had no idea. I didn't know it was free. I had no idea it was a free thing. So it's a free online thing that you can do. How do they get away with that? How are they making money off this?
Well, they also have the like buy version that gives you like cool costumes and like cool little swag, But that's how they're probably doing it. Yeah.
Scary, scary world.
Yes, sir.
Stormy Daniels recently. Oh, geez. I can't believe I got
How
this.
dare
one.
you pick this story, sir?
I'm such a terrible
What a
person.
low life.
Stormy Daniels recently poured cold water on Donald Trump's bedroom prowess in her new tell-all and compares his privates to a popular Nintendo video game character.
Wrong.
The porn star, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, goes well below the belt in the book entitled Full Disclosure. Writing about her alleged tryst with the future president, Daniels says it, quote, may have been the least impressive sex she ever had.
I mean, is that a revelation, though? Does anyone look at Donald Trump at any point in his life and say, man, there is a stud right there? Right?
No, No.
Right.
In a blow to his manhood, she describes his genitals in lurid detail, saying his penis is, quote, smaller than average, but not freakishly small.
That is very descriptive.
That is.
Oh, geez.
Go on, Kemosabe.
Daniels further claims, quote, he knows he has an unusual penis. It has a mushroom. I didn't read that right.
Read it again.
It has a huge mushroom head like a toadstool.
Oh, boy.
I lay there, annoyed that I was getting effed by a guy with Yeti pubes.
What? What does that mean?
And a D like the mushroom character in Mario Kart.
So wait a minute. So she's contradicting herself because she says it's unusually small, but it has a huge mushroom head. Huge. It's huge.
Oh my God.
So now people are like freaked out.
sick.
Now people don't want to play like Mario Brothers anymore, and they're afraid of the character, and it's Trump,
They
and
should
people
be.
won't eat mushroom. No one's eating the portobello burger anymore. Like everyone's free, which is fun because I think mushrooms are disgusting. I would never put that in my mouth. I think that's gross. But this is unbelievable. There are people who could probably in vivid detail describe like freckles on Bill Clinton's genitalia, but yet this comes out. We never heard anything about that.
I don't want to hear anything about that. I don't want to hear anything about this. I hope they burn all the copies of this book.
So I guess I shouldn't order this for Christmas for you then?
No, I don't want.
Maybe I'll give that to Danny instead.
Yeah,
Danny will enjoy that. He likes Trump.
Yeah, give it to Danny.
That is absurd.
Wow.
He's really into reading right now. He's knocking out a lot of books.
Sure. Well, listen, this lady's just trying to cash
No.
in, and what better way to draw eyeballs and clicks to to Amazon or whatever else than this kind of stuff? But really, what else could be we already know you already let the cat out of the bag. Why am I going to order the book now? You already told me what Trump's stuff looks like, so I don't really need to get the book anymore, do I?
Yeah, and she went on to say, in an interview on The View, she was like, that's just a small portion of the book, and I just decided to throw it in. I've been writing this book forever, but, no one's going to buy it to read about Stormy Daniels. No offense. I mean, just reading that little sentence, you can tell what kind of person she is, you know? But, like, no one was going to go out of their way to buy her book unless it had this in there. Like, let's be honest. Would you have? No. Who's Stormy Daniels?
Yeah, no one.
No one even knows who she is unless you're into that kind of stuff on the internet, you know?
Well, we all know one of us in this room is into that, and I won't name any names. Snakes on a plane! Recently, got very real. A passenger flying from Deutschland, that's Germany to us Americans, to Russia caused a stir when it was discovered he was carrying 20 snakes in his bag. The man said he'd bought the snakes at a market in Germany. No big deal. So the press service over there in Russia says the reptiles were in canisters, packed in bags, carried in hand luggage. There were no documents provided for the reptiles. The snakes were quarantined in Moscow because the passenger lacked proper documents, including from veterinarians, to bring the snakes from Dusseldorf to Russia. On the plus side, preliminary reports indicated that these snakes were not venomous. So I can't bring like a little like tube of toothpaste on the airplane, but this guy can bring 20 snakes in a duffel bag.
I don't understand how it is.
They're living right over there in Europe.
I can't bring like
You can't bring nail-
I can bring a dog on a plane, but
Right.
I can't bring contact lens solution
Or nail clippers.
Yeah,
because you're going to hijack the plane with some nail clippers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting next to the guy and his carry-on bag is like starting to like wriggle like next to your feet?
Oh
That's literally my worst nightmare. I'm never getting on a plane again.
no, you don't. Yeah.
Now, are you skeeved out by snakes?
Yeah.
You are.
I hate them.
What about you, DJ? Snakes? Yay or nay?
It depends. Most of the time, I'm okay. There's some movies that have really done some serious damage.
Such
in
as?
reference. There was I forget the damn name of the movie. It was a B movie. And it was like called Hard Target or something. It's not, damn it. I can't remember the exact name. But in the movie, there was like a big cobra that they were trying to avoid, right? They flushed the toilet. And when they flushed the toilet, the cobra came out of the toilet. Yeah, it was like this gigantic snake. So I don't do that. Anaconda, the Indiana Jones scene where they cut open the snake and all these little mini snakes come out.
Oh.
I don't want to do that. So real life snakes, whatever. But that stuff.
Real life only if they're like at the aquarium behind glass, so I can say, "Oh, how cute," you know. But I don't have to worry about them getting me.
So, like, when the guy, like, I remember going on, like, class trips to, I don't know, some animal place or whatever, and they said, oh, and then the guy comes out holding the snake. Hey, you kids want to hold the snake?
No.
You wouldn't do that?
No. I've sat on an alligator before at one of those things, but they came around with a little snake, and I was
accident?
like, absolutely not. No. Not by accident. But yes, no. Snakes are not for me.
Spiders skeeve me out more than snakes do. Snakes I could almost handle. We have a lot of snakes around our property because we're right next to the woods. So, you know, after a bad rainstorm, we'll go outside and there'll be like this wriggling on the patio or in the driveway. And I just go and get the shovel out the garage and I cut it in half. I do one of these, and I stab it down with the shovel, and then like both parts try to escape. And that part kind of skeeves me out.
PETA is banning this podcast from the interwebs.
You know what? I hope Pete is not. You know what? If Pete is listening, turn this off. You're not allowed to listen to this. Get the hell out of my pantry in my refrigerator, PETA.
Many of us are already conditioned to ignore phone calls from unknown numbers, but a new study seems to validate that MO. Okay, so by next year, nearly half of the mobile phone calls that we get will be scams. We'll debunk that in a second. According to a new report from First Orion.
I think it's probably First Orion.
Orion?
Yeah.
Okay. See, sorry guys.
okay.
Everybody's tuning off now. But
No,
a
they're
company that provides call management and protection for T-Mobile, Metro PCS, Virgin Mobile, and others. So according to their press release, the percentage of scam calls in the U.S. for mobile traffic increased by 3.7% last year to 29.2% this year, and it's predicted to rise to 44.6% in 2019. Honestly, I feel like it's way more than 29.2% this year. I feel like half the calls I already get are scams.
Yeah. My favorite is if you answer the phone, someone will say, Hey, is Ted there? And no, Ted's not. You have the wrong number. Oh, well, while I have you on the phone, let me see if you'd be willing to donate to 2 police officers or something. I'm just throwing something out there.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It's crazy.
Well, so few people now even place a phone call because everything's done through texts or through social media that we don't really call each other anymore unless like you're calling grandpa or mom and dad or whatever. So anytime my phone rings, I just automatically assume it's going to be a scam or a robocall or something like that, and I just go click it off right away unless it's from one of my contacts. But listen, gone are the days when we had our home, our landline, and you can just get like the caller ID or get like the thing where you can be on the national do not call list and all that kind of stuff. Them days are over.
Yeah.
And I used to assume that I was the only one who got all these weird calls because like I one time made the neophyte mistake of listening to like one of those shows. Derek, you'll appreciate this. Like, call right now and get my free college football pick of the year.
Yeah.
For free. I said, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. And I figured they like kind of captured my phone number and passed it off. I'm like, oh man, that was the worst mistake I ever made. But apparently everybody gets those calls, so I don't feel so bad anymore.
Yeah. And the worst is when like they know your name and like all that creepy stuff, like where you live and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
That is creepy.
That is
and you were
creepy.
telling a story off the air about your poor grandmother getting preyed upon. And they always, these scammers, they look for the elderly because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
Very sad.
They've started making like commercials toward like the AARP has made a commercial towards the elderly about scammers because they were getting like so many calls and they're just giving their info.
Yeah, my grandmother has gotten numerous calls from someone claiming to be her grandson. So whenever that happens, I'll get a call and say, "Hey, did you call Grandma down in Virginia?" No, I didn't. Why? What's going on? It's like, oh, some guy just tried to call her up and said that, he was in jail or something like that, and it's like he needs money and blah, 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 blah. I'm in trouble. If I don't get this money, I'll go to jail.
God.
So, and my grandmother, bless her heart, a couple times thought it was the real deal.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly what happened to my grandma. It was like the scary ones, like, because you don't know. And they called her. She's doesn't speak English. She's from Guatemala, so she doesn't really. So they called her, and it was just so weird the stuff they knew. But they told her like a cousin back in her home country was abducted, and they were gonna kill him if she didn't send $500 right this second on the phone. And she was freaking out. Like, they didn't say a name or anything, but she just assumed, I haven't seen any of my family there. This could be true. Luckily, like, one of us was there. My aunt was there and was like, why would you send a stranger money? Like, don't do that. Yeah. And she called him back, and they were like, oh, sorry.
So many scummy people. And why can't everybody just be nice like us? Or at least like you guys?
A homeowner in Virginia is tired of students coming onto his property while they're waiting at a nearby bus stop, so he chose to erect an electrified fence to ensure they would get the message.
I like this guy.
Yeah. In a statement to local news, Brian Tucker said of the students, quote, "They don't respect other people's land. I pick up trash every day." That's when Tucker decided to set up an electric fence, which reportedly is powered by a battery. It must be one powerful fence.
Yeah.
The fence separates the man's front yard from a school bus stop. He took the measure because he claims simple no trespassing signs didn't do the trick. Some neighbors have raised concerns, including one man who said, quote, "I touched it, I got a slight shock. It wasn't that great. I understand his concern. I just don't think he understood the neighbor's concern about their kids. One of them could touch it, fall into it, and get shocked."
Well, then that's their problem then, isn't it?
Yeah, hey,
That is
don't
their
touch the fence.
Don't touch. Listen, don't throw your Red Bull can onto the front lawn. Then.
Yeah, this is a thing that I don't know how much it happens now. I know growing up as a kid, it happened a lot in my backyard where kids would cut through our backyard to walk home from school. So it became common knowledge that our backyard was one of the shortcut areas you could take to get to the other side of the street. Instead of walking around, they would walk to our house and then cut through the backyard. So my dad eventually got fed up with it and put up, a regular sized fence and said, "Screw this! I'm not having kids walk back into in the backyard unannounced.
And, see, God forbid you do something like that, and that's a very reasonable thing to do. And it's like, get off my lawn. It's like one of those people. Like, yeah right, get off my lawn. It's not your pathway.
Yeah.
But then if something happened to them while they were on your lawn, it would be your fault.
Oh,
and that's the main reason why no one, because you don't know who's planning to sue you. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, talking about people discarding trash and stuff like that, one of my pet peeves on this earth are smokers who flick their cigarette butts out the window of their car, just want to pick it up and shove it up their nostril, if I may say so. What
bad.
Pigs?
That's so bad.
Extinguish that SHIT in your little ashtray in your car there, Bubba.
Like what you
flick your cigarette. What the hell? What is it? The world your garbage pail? Asshole. That's right. I said it.
Oh, there goes the clean rating for the podcast.
That wasn't me. That was Alyssa who said that.
Guilty as charged. My bad.
I don't understand it because you already got that smoke.
Yeah.
It's already in your lungs.
Yeah.
So it's over.
Your car smells like it. It's not. You're not going to stink up your car any worse. It just bothers me. People who throw litter like that. I hate that. I hate it. So, how many days till Christmas? It's like under 100 at this point, right? Under
Really?
100 days? I think so, right?
Let's throw that into the Google machine.
Yeah, well, Derek's doing the Google machine. So, why do I bring up Christmas? Well, because everybody's favorite mega online merchant, they are entering the Christmas tree ring. That's right. Watch out. Those 7-foot boxes on your doorstep. It's not Uncle Lester from overseas. It's actually a Christmas tree that Amazon plans to sell and ship to you fresh and full size just in time for Noel. So Amazon says the Christmas trees, including Douglas firs and Norfolk Island pines, will be bound and shipped without water in the usual sort of box. Amazon said they'll be sent within 10 days of being cut down, and possibly even sooner, and should survive the shipping just fine. A 7-foot Fraser fir from a North Carolina farm will cost you in the neighborhood of $115, according to an Amazon holiday preview book. Also listed is a wreath for $50, no thanks, and a $25 red-leafed plant. Don't we call those don't those have a name?
Red leaf plant?
Yeah.
Poinsettia?
Yeah, don't we call that a poinsettia plant? Yeah. With a decorative candy cane speared into the soil. The trees, wreaths, and garlands will go on sale in November. Okay, what's our countdown from this very day that we're recording?
96.
Okay, see, I was right. We're under 100 days. Would you ever order a Christmas tree, Alyssa Ficcaglia, from Amazon?
Well, I saw this and I was like, wow, that is an excellent idea. Would I actually do it? Probably not. And I feel so bad for the poor mail carrier who's going to have to deliver that giant Christmas tree.
Well, I can tell you from experience, because I did work a holiday season for UPS, is they usually send out a helper or two on all the drivers' trucks anytime from the beginning of November through Christmas time. So he won't be alone. Whoever, even if it's FedEx or UPS, they won't be alone. But I agree. And also, if you have 2 or 3 of these trees in your truck, I mean, you're really not fitting a lot more stuff in that truck for these deliveries. So I wonder if they've kind of kept that in mind too. If you're on your route and you've got a dozen Christmas trees, and that's pretty much all you're delivering that day.
And the fact that it says they should stay fresh,
I don't trust
I don't
that.
want to get a tree that's dead.
Yeah.
I want it to be alive.
You know what that means.
And also, I
doornail.
hate to say this because I know it's traditional and some people think it's sacrilegious not to have a real tree. I'm skeeved out by real trees because I don't want to be the one to bring the tree home that has like a spider's nest or locusts or, crickets in there. Because I've heard stories about this. People waking up in the morning after they put their real tree and there's like bugs all over the house. I don't want to be that person. I'm sorry. I'll happily put up my fake tree each year.
Yeah. And dealing with the little pine bristles when they start to fall off, it's everywhere.
Freaking mess.
And then when you try to take it out at the end of Christmas, they're literally it's like you're taking out twigs by the end, by the time you're getting it out.
Yeah, give me a fake tree. What about you, Derek? You guys get I guarantee you guys probably get a real tree, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No, we got rid of the real tree.
Okay.
So, gosh, it's been close to a decade now. We've been going with the artificial tree for that reason. It was too messy.
It's a mess,
and we didn't want to deal with it.
Sap all over your hands. You got to water it, and you got to buy. You got to fight with the stand and make sure it's the right size and it's tipping over. Is it crooked?
Yeah, and
screw that.
And that's the thing. And so when I moved out, my original place, you'd have to walk up the steps to get to the top floor or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did not want to bring a tree up those steps. No thanks. So I just got an artificial tree, man.
And then you got to deposit it, and where do you put it? Is it in the dumpster? It's just forget it.
I box it up, put it in the attic. Boom.
You know, I can celebrate Jesus' birth with a fake tree, a pre-lit fake tree. Thank you very much.
I think he'd be okay with that.
I think so. I agree.
South Korea is taking a very unique approach to bullying. According to a recent report by a Korean newspaper, the Uncle service is now a growing business. You heard me right. Uncle. Yes. So the Uncle service comes in 3 different packages. You can get the Uncle package, the evidence package, and the chaperone package.
Derek, you're an uncle.
Yes,
I am. Are you
am.
involved in this by any chance?
I would like to be.
Okay.
He can't be because the Uncle package is a service where you get a big, intimidating man. Derek is not.
Oh wait, I beg to differ.
Come on.
I beg to differ.
The man is usually in their 30s to 40s, and they pretend to be the student's uncle. The uncle will give a stern warning to the bullies and accompany the student on their way and back from school. The service is provided for 500,000 Korean won.
Won, yeah.
Won, is that their currency?
Yes.
Oh, I'm learning something new.
Yeah, won.
Which is about $443 per day.
That's pretty affordable.
Yeah, I think to have a stranger follow your kid, it's perfect.
How is this not happening in the United States?
Because they're strangers following your children. Anyway, so then there's the evidence package, which is the uncle goes undercover and obtains evidence of bullying by filming the scene with mini cameras.
So now you have a stranger filming minors.
Stalking your children, okay? The uncle will
awesome.
then report the evidence to the school with a demand for action. This package will run you approximately $350.
That's pretty good.
Okay, or you can buy your own cameras and stalk
do
children,
your
but
own,
I think that's illegal. So, lastly, there's the chaperone package, and that is where the uncle visits the job sites of the bully's parents.
Oh, this is like the Cadillac package right here. You see that Cadillac health insurance? This is the Cadillac bullying package here.
Yes, and then the uncle will protest in front of their office building and scream, "A parent of a bully works here."
Oh, it's like Antifa, Derek.
Oh,
It's like your people in Antifa.
The service includes 4 total visits and is available for 2 million Korean won or $1,700.
That's for the well-to-do family who has a little twerp who's getting bullied.
That is insane. I'm all for, preventing bullying, but this is a little extreme.
I gotta say, it's a unique idea, and I love the concept of it. But as soon as it leaves the tarmac, there are so many different places. There's so many different ways for it to crash and burn.
Yeah.
You already mentioned a couple of them, Alyssa. It's a stranger who's not been really vetted by anything except for the people's word is going to be following your kid and then filming he or she and the bully. So now he's got film of your kid. God knows what's going to happen with that. Mm-hmm. And now he's going to be protesting and screaming in front of someone's building.
See, I like the chaperone package. I think we could definitely have that here. But I don't know. I think I would pick the uncle package. I'd love to have a big, scary man follow me around,
I'm still upset you don't find me intimidating.
Let's talk about that.
Ooh, sorry. Oh. I think you also surpassed the age range.
No, excuse me.
Whoa.
Excuse me. I'm still in my late 30s. Thank you.
Alyssa, if you don't focus on all the gray hair, you wouldn't say that.
Oh,
don't focus on the dome.
Wah, wah.
People have been calling me Obama all week. It's been very scary.
Don't we have a picture of you photoshopped onto Obama?
That is very accurate.
Shameful.
A British woman has reportedly been questioned by police in the Canary Islands after doctors found a dead tortoise inside her vagina.
How did it get there?
Huh? Emergency room personnel on the island of Tenerife are said to have called police.
Didn't you and Danny go there that one year without me? Did you go?
Oh, yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
At that island, they are said to have called
I will give you
police.
$1 if you can tell me where the Canary Islands are.
Isn't that near the Bahamas?
Keep reading.
In the ocean somewhere.
In the ocean. Yeah, it's in the water. Yeah, that should have been the answer. It's in the water.
It's near the Iberian Peninsula.
Oh, God, I wasn't even close.
No, you weren't close.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's said that... okay. In this island, they are said to have called police after making the bizarre discovery. The unnamed woman had sought help after suffering pain in her genital area, which doctors diagnosed as an infection caused by the reptile.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why did the emergency room people call the police after finding this? Did they think the turtle was guilty of a crime? Were they getting like the rape kit out? Like, I don't understand.
Unless you thought it was inserted there. Otherwise, I don't understand why that would be taking place. So weird.
Kinky.
Yeah. So,
I'm gonna stay away from the Canary Islands.
she told
Be
police.
giving out fake phone numbers all over the place in the island. See what happens to you? They don't take kindly to that sort of thing.
It's like the people who used to drug in and take your liver or kidneys.
Yes,
or
that's
whatever.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that movie Hostel. You ever see that? Have you seen that, Alyssa?
I have not.
Oh, don't see that. That's terrible.
Tough watch. She told police she had begun to feel odd after going out partying with a group of friends a couple of days earlier, but had no idea how the tortoise ended up where it did.
No.
The size of the reptile has not been revealed. Like, does it
That's
matter?
probably good. Well, yeah, actually, I think it does. Or if it's like a big box turtle, then we got an
my God.
issue.
Oh my God.
Now, do we ever stop? Speaking of PETA, have we stopped to consider the tortoise's feelings?
Yeah. That poor little guy. He didn't want to go there.
I'm sure he didn't slowly and steadily climb up in there.
How is
Against his will, he was inserted
How
into
is
that
this-
most
That's
intimate
why
area.
the police were called.
Okay, now it's starting to come into focus now.
Let's analyze this for a second, okay? So you ever hear of when you sleep at night, like you inhale like spiders?
Oh
or
yes,
something?
Oh, yeah.
yes. I'm mortified by that. By the way,
So I was trying to think.
Are you saying this lady passed out?
And a turtle
her,
just crawled
her
up there?
genitals ingested a tortoise?
Where did she pass out? In a swamp somewhere?
Well, the Canary Islands, apparently.
Yeah, maybe she passed out on the
Tenerife.
beach in the Canary Islands.
Yeah, and beautiful Tenerife.
I was thinking maybe that's what happened. I don't
think
know. I mean, maybe.
Listen, how many times you can see that my mom watches these shows. I've been talking about my mom a lot, but my mom watches these shows like on A&E and like the medical channel and stuff like that of the strangest things that people have removed from their orifices in emergency rooms. And you wouldn't believe, I mean, trophies and, rolling pins, all these things that people either, I don't know how you accidentally get these things inside or if you're just going crazy because it's
Stupid.
Saturday night,
Yeah.
or you're stupid or whatever. But like, I mean, I've never heard of a live creature being inserted into these orifices. But
Oh my
again,
God.
we're talking about another part of the world. Maybe
This
that's
reminds me, though, that I recently saw an article about doctors having to warn women not to stick hornets' nests up their hoo-ha. I don't know
Oh
who
my
does
God.
that, but apparently that's a thing, and doctors need to tell you why that's not a good idea. So maybe it's like a new trend, using animals to pleasure yourself. I don't know.
killing two birds with one stone, literally. I guess
How do you not wake up when that happens? How do you not wake up when?
she must have had a lot of Bahama breezes or something. I don't know.
Oh, my
I really don't know. Well, I'm going to stay away from the Canary Islands, and I think you folks should too, at least until this whole story blows over. But that's it. You survived, Alyssa, your first installment
Yes.
of ICYMI.
I did it.
You did
I
it.
only scared away a few listeners.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's the key. We don't want to scare away everybody. By the way, we have a listenership now in the Philippines.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, like multiple hits.
Nice.
Also Dallas too. So
Well,
shout out to
don't
those
we have like naval installations in the Philippines or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, might.
That could. Maybe that's what it is.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I think service men and women would enjoy this show.
Oh,
we keep
for
it real
sure.
on here.
Yeah.
They don't like hearing some of your progressive commie rhetoric sometimes, but they can put up with it to hear me.
Aggressive commie rhetoric. Oh my god.
well-
we have to keep. I know we were joking earlier about the show, but this bad boy, it's not stopping until 20. When we get to the 2020 election, we've got to make it through at least one more election cycle.
But maybe like episode 100 by that
Yes.
time, right? Well,
Yes.
we have to at least get 100 episodes.
Oh my god, yeah,
Right?
that's not even.
So
yeah.
100 episodes or 2020 cycle, whichever one comes first.
Yes,
And then we can just, bow out, and
make best of.
be like the Beatles and bow out and go to the top of Bunce Hall and wave to everyone on a windy day with our scarves blowing in the breeze.
playing like Get Back or something.
That's right. Or maybe we can hand the reins off to the Exit 58 podcast to people who actually show up and do it. I'm kidding, Danny. I wasn't here last show. I'm more poking fun at myself. It's okay, babe. I love you.
You are listening to the Exit 58 podcast.
Where's Mateo? Get Mateo in here.
Yeah, we need him next for sure. Stay tuned. We'll have more headed your way after this.
Subscribe to the Exit 58 podcast on iTunes and Stitcher by searching Exit 58 Podcast.
Back here on the Exit 58 podcast, Derek, Kaz, Alyssa, our special guest, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having me.
You have survived so far, and now as we bring it on home.
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah, I guess we have to.
Okay.
Whatever. We're going to tie this show, or tie the beginning of this and the end of this segment back to the beginning.
We are?
Yes.
Oh, how are we going to do that?
Kind of some coming full
I
circle.
like
if you
that.
will.
Closure. I
Yes.
love that. I need closure.
So Bert and Ernie, we were talking about that in the beginning of the show, and the hullabaloo over are they gay, are they not gay?
Do they have
Are
a tortoise in their
Yeah,
hoo-ha? Yeah, right.
So we're talking about that, but it does bring about a key question:
Okay.
top Sesame Street characters.
Ooh.
So let's do this: top 3 Sesame Street characters for everybody.
Ooh. Ladies first.
Okay.
Miss Ficcaglia.
Ready. My number 1 is obviously Elmo, because that's just a must. Then I'm going to go with Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch.
Oh, yes.
Oscar the Grouch is me. Okay. That is,
you.
he is my spirit animal.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
All right. Okay. So my list, I got to have Big Bird. Big
Yeah.
Bird's got to be on there. Just too iconic. Cookie Monster, because
Yeah.
my man Cookie, and we have the same diet pretty much, me and Cookie, so I got to have him. And I would also include Oscar on my list because I'm oftentimes grouchy, so I can relate to Oscar. So those would be mine. I got to go old school Big Bird, Cookie because of his appetite, and Oscar because of his temperament.
I'm gonna go Big Bird 1,
Okay?
Cookie Monster 2, but 3.
Snuffy.
No.
The Count.
The Count.
Oh, see,
That's a good one.
that is a very good
Yeah.
one.
I love the Count. Mm-hmm. The Count was always a good time. Never disappointed you. Mm-hmm. You never felt unfulfilled with the
He
Count.
was never trying to suck anyone's neck. He was just all about teaching you numbers and
Yeah.
loving every minute of it.
educating you.
He wasn't a fiend.
No.
He showed you that you could be a vampire and still not be a fiend, preying upon the blood of the unsuspecting. Good
Yeah.
for him. He rose above. Hashtag rise above, Count.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. No, I loved the show. I thought it was cool. That was such a great time.
It was.
To be a kid and watch those type of shows.
Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street.
Yes.
Oh,
Bear in the Big
Fraggle
Blue
Rock.
House.
No.
Remember that one?
Which one?
Bear in the Big Blue House.
I don't remember that.
That was a little. You see, you're
I'm showing my
you're a
age.
child. You're a
Yeah. Oh
my God.
child.
Yeah, you're the young buck out of us. So
Well, like Sesame Street is like the new episodes are on HBO now, so
Yeah.
it's like we're in a whole like different era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of odd,
doesn't feel right. I
does
need my
not.
Sesame Street on PBS.
right? When was the last time you watched Sesame? Get out of here, Sesame Street. When was the last time you looked at that?
Oh God, I haven't watched it in.
You used to watch that with your nephew when they'd come for a visit, or
They weren't Sesame Street kids.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted to watch
Barney.
Thomas the Train.
Oh, yeah, we watched that.
Yeah, Dora the Explorer.
yeah, no, she's annoying.
My niece was a big Hannah Montana fan.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, Hannah Montana was on for years. It was on all the time. Like my nephew and I would play video games, and my niece would just run up to the TV. And as soon as we just all right, let's go get something to drink, she'd immediately turn the TV to Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana was all the rage,
Yeah.
okay? Little girls would have parties at Libby Lou where you put on the blonde wig, you dress up, and that was our thing.
Those Disney shows are like cocaine to kids.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
They
Oh,
get
my God.
addicted
They'll put it
to
on all
them
the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least
Watch the same
classics.
episodes over and over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
It's like you in the NFL games.
Oh,
You could watch Super Bowl 24 probably a dozen times and not get tired of it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I can.
Maybe not 24. How about 23?
23. I'll watch that. I'll
24. You can't watch that too often. That was the blowout, right? That was the Broncos got blown out.
Yeah, you got to watch it in quick clips. You got to watch the touchdowns, and that's it. You can't watch the in between plays. It's a brutal game. But yeah, I can watch NFL games.
See, that's his
it's my
Sesame
job.
Street.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, folks, that brings us to a close of
did it.
another Exit 58 podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Alyssa. It was a pleasure.
I loved being here.
Oh,
Now I
yes.
can listen as a fan and as a guest.
Yes. And I promise next time we will get you over to the place and it will work.
Sounds like a
Do you
scam.
hear these
Don't,
lies?
Yeah, don't do
No!
it.
Hashtag fake news.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
it will happen.
Right.
will happen.
In 10 minutes, he'll forget he even offered you that. So.
Yep.
I don't know if Danny will be back, but you'll definitely be back. For sure.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Sorry, Danny. Again.
Yeah, Danny's getting dumped on a lot. I kind of feel bad about that. But, when we all we'll hug and kiss when we get back together. It'll be okay.
He's from UConn. He'll just go grab some money out of his trust fund.
Yeah, that's true. The commute to get here has got to be killer for him.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah, it's tough.
from Stores, Connecticut to here, it's tough.
Well, you can catch up on previous episodes by checking us out on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, etc. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's the Exit 58 podcast.
Yeah.
For Cass
See ya.
and Alyssa.
Bye.
I'm Derek. So long, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.